Doctrine and Covenants 29. It's the summer of 1828 in Harmony, Pennsylvania, and one of the worst seasons of Joseph Smith's life. Martin Harris has lost the 116-page manuscript, the angel Moroni has taken back the interpreters, and Joseph has just buried his first child, a baby boy, in a small cemetery less than a quarter mile from their home. All hope seems to be lost, and maybe Joseph wonders if things will ever be okay again. What hope is there for this baby? He's read the words of the prophet Moroni, who said that little children don't need baptism, but at his brother Alvin's funeral years ago, the local minister implied that Alvin's spirit was in hell because he hadn't been baptized. Perhaps a small part of Joseph worries that this baby would suffer in hell because he too had not been baptized. Fast forward 1 year, and things are looking much better. Joseph was granted the gift of translation again and had completed the Book of Mormon, which is now in the middle of being published. What is Joseph to do with his time now? The Lord knows that Joseph's time on earth will not be long, and so he inspires Joseph to do his next big project, retranslating the Bible. Never mind that Joseph's only 24 years old, has very little education or training, and is about to make changes to a book that is the cornerstone of the world's dominant religion. The Lord has inspired him to this work, and so Joseph goes forward willingly. In June of 1830, he and Oliver Cowdery set to work, sitting at a table with a copy of the King James Bible in front of them, a starting point from which Joseph receives revelations of what is missing or incorrect. When Joseph begins in Genesis, he receives not just a few word changes, but over 12,000 missing words, which are now recorded in the Book of Moses. In the middle of this translation work, the church's growth continues, and all are looking forward to a church-wide conference in September. Shortly before the conference is to begin, Joseph Smith is gathered with 6 church elders, likely Oliver Cowdery, David Whitmer, John Whitmer, Peter Whitmer, Samuel H. Smith, and Thomas B. Marsh. With his mind filled with the truths taught at the beginning of the Book of Moses about the creation and Garden of Eden, Joseph receives a revelation that lays out truths about the beginning of mankind, Satan's rebellion, the fall of Adam, and the plan God laid out for them. But perhaps even more important to Joseph, the Lord reveals truths about the end of that plan. That Jesus' second coming will be terrifying for those who are not prepared, who are wicked and unbaptized. And perhaps at this point, Joseph is worrying about that little baby buried back in Pennsylvania. But the Lord reveals an amazing truth after teaching about the second coming, the millennium, the resurrection, and judgment. He says, quote, "Little children are redeemed from the foundation of the world through mine only begotten. Wherefore they cannot sin." Just a few minutes later, the revelation ends and the 7 men are left to ponder on what has just happened. No doubt, they are all filled with the Spirit. They've just been present for an unbelievable experience. But perhaps no one in the room is so filled with joy as Joseph. He now has concrete doctrine straight from God that his little boy is safe. Though Joseph still misses him, and he will lose 5 more infant children in the coming years, he now has the peace of mind knowing that, eternally speaking, things are now much more than okay. So what lesson can we learn from Doctrine and Covenants 29? That God is merciful. His plan of salvation was created so that as many of his children as possible will make it home to him. And that is definitely a God worth serving. Now, if you love these videos, you will love my daily podcast, 1 Minute Scripture Study, where we dive into a single verse and find its meaning and application all in about 1 minute. You can check out the link in the description.